The second big discussion that we are having today is regarding Bangladesh and whether China is now wooing Bangladesh's Jamaat-E-Islami. Now, Chinese envoy to Bangladesh met the Jamaat leadership. Chinese envoy Yao Wen, in fact, even described Jamaat as a well-organized entity. He met Jamaat's Amir, Dr. Shafiqur Rahman, and most importantly, since 2010, this is the first foreign diplomat visiting Jamaat. So that tells you the significance of this meeting, and we ask the key questions on India Global today, that what does it mean in terms of relationship of India with Bangladesh in the midst of this volatile neighborhood, and also whether China-Bangladesh relationship is now going to raise serious security implications for India. And let me take that to my guests this evening. First up, Gunjan Singh, who's an expert on China, joining us. She's an associate professor with OP Jindal Global University, and Saleem Samad, who's a senior journalist, joining us live from Dhaka. In fact, Mr. Samad, let me ask you this question, sir. That is there now a change in the relationship between China and Bangladesh in the wake of how Jamaat is getting treated, Jamaat-E-Islami is getting treated under the present dispensation? And do you see that having a larger impact on the China-Bangladesh bilateral relationship?
Thank you for having me. I have first thing which always, I am amazed that China, despite being an atheist or not practicing, which doesn't allow Muslims to pray or go to the mosque. And very interestingly, that most of the Islamists, including Jamaat-E-Islami, are always openly pro-China. This is for the last 50 years that I have been seeing. So that is very not, I would not say it is a surprise. For us, it would have been a surprise if the Jamaat-E-Islami wouldn't have had a diplomatic or a high-level meeting with the Chinese ambassador. So that would have been a surprise, because all through they have always been, and you will never find any Arab countries or any Muslim countries that ever criticized China for its appalling human rights abuse. But definitely, it is not. It's
so
not a major shift.
This is about a Chinese diplomat going and meeting Jamaat-E-Islami 14 years after the last such visit took place, in a time where the leadership is declared as a terrorist, and the organization is declared as a terrorist entity, its members are declared as terrorists. How do you see that equation now from a larger point of view? That's my question, sir.
Excuse me, who has declared Jamaat-Islam as a terrorist party? Can you cite an example?
Okay, then what is it, sir? Please tell me, what is Jamaat-E-Islami then?
Jamaat-E-Islami is most of the leaders, all the senior leaders who were involved in the war crimes in 1971 for committing crime against humanity and other issues of the war crime. They have all been tried and they have been all hanged, all of them. So these are the second generation. Most of them are born or were very, very young during 1971.
No, they were declared a terrorist entity. Some of them were facing trial for serious charges, sir, under the previous government.
No, it is only United States have declared the Chhatro Shibir, the students' wing of Jamaat-Islami, as a terrorist organization. That's only United States. It is not in UN. But Bangladesh did ban Jamaat-Islami from contesting the election, and that has gone into the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has agreed. Yes, the Jamaat-Islami.
Okay, so we can keep debating, sir, about the kind of work that Jamaat-E-Islami does, and I would like to believe that you and I would at least be in agreement that it has nothing that furthers humanity's causes. I would like to believe that you and I are in agreement over there. Maybe we are not. Let me take that to Gunjan Singh. Gunjan, now the point is, this now raises serious implications as far as India's strategic and security calculus is concerned, because Chinese envoy, Chinese diplomatic machinery is very clearly now wooing what India perceives, America perceives as a terrorist organization.
Yeah, thanks, Gaurie, for the question. But yeah, Jamaat is considered a terrorist organization by Indians and the Americans as well. It's the way they have sheltered a lot of insurgents and all has not actually been positive for India. And under Sheikh Hasina's regime, it was banned from contesting elections because that was the move that Jamaat-E-Islami was domestically undergoing from being a violent, militant, maybe a terrorist group. It was trying to mold itself into a political organization, and that's what's going to happen now. The ban has been removed and Jamaat will be contesting elections, and that's why we see
So
the
does it
Chinese
mean that the India-Bangladesh relationship could be further strained? Because if this is how Jamaat is going to be wooed by China, if this sets the state for Jamaat to probably contest in the next elections, it does have an impact on India-Bangladesh relationship as well. It could probably be strained further.
It will be. That was one of the factors where India's relations under Sheikh Hasina's regime had improved because Jamaat was banned. And India does have issues with Jamaat becoming a political organization or being a member or a party in the political coalition if the next election happens. And China getting close to Jamaat actually gives a signal that China is ready to work with any organization or any political party that is in power in Bangladesh, even if it's seen as a terrorist organization and it's not acknowledged as a right political move for the region. Also, the Chinese have always said that they don't want to interfere in the domestic issue. They will deal with whoever is in power. So that goes in tune with what the China stand has been till date. And Jamaat has the ban, after the ban being removed, I think the ambassador going, there is some indication that they might be in power. China will also have to secure its investments in the region. So
I was coming to just that this of course is also meant to secure its investments, its assets, its exposure to Bangladesh. And I want to give Mr. Samad time to respond to that, sir. The two questions that I asked, and the implications in terms of the India-Bangladesh relationship, and also is it China's efforts to protect its exposure in a very volatile Bangladesh political environment?
You are right. And of course, the relationship with Bangladesh and China, that has to be sorted out because the previous government, the Sheikh Hasina's Awami League, also had a very good relationship with China. Similarly, with Bangladesh Nationalist Party, the opposition, which is vying for to be the next to be in the power. Even Khaleda Zia's party was also had a very good, excellent relationship with China. China is worried with Bangladesh right now with the interim government. Worried because Bangladesh has not committed anything with China, and the China's huge infrastructure investment which has to be paid every month. So China is very worried about that. And of course, China will not be able to get more contracts because the interim government has already reviewed and they are trying to disregard the MOUs that has been signed with China. So China is definitely worried, and China needs an ally, and Jamaat-E-Islami and the Bangladesh Nationalist Party. And of course, Awami League is also an ally of China. They have a very, very good relationship.
Yes, but you know, the fact that they are both willing to do business with each other does indicate that where does pragmatism come and where does idealism end as far as this equation is concerned. But Gunjan, tell us, and you know, how do you see in terms of what should be India's next steps? Because you know, it needs to respond as you know, in a more nimble-footed manner as it can in a situation that is likely to impact and disproportionately impact its security implications.
Yeah, obviously, the situation in Bangladesh is not in India's favor right now. If the BNP and Jamaat come back to power, the relations under BNP have historically been adverse. The BNP has seen to be closer to China and Pakistan historically. And obviously, the situation with minorities have always been very adverse for minorities under the BNP rule. So the last 15 years, the relationships were good because Sheikh Hasina had very nicely managed to balance, we can say, India-China relations or India-China influence in Bangladesh. The Teesta River, the other port issues, they'd all gone in India's favor to a very large extent. But the BNP issue, Chinese talking to them, India will definitely not be able to interact with them at the same political footing. China, I don't think so. Okay. India can recognize Jamaat as a political party going ahead. And BNP looks likely that the BNP will come back to power, and historically we've not had good relations. But also you have to see that India and Bangladesh share a 4,000-kilometer long border.
They do, and which is why India needs to protect its interests. Mr. Samad, very quickly, do you expect Jamaat to also fight the upcoming elections whenever they take place? Do you expect China to back them completely? How do you see this relationship going?
First of all, you must be knowing it very well. I don't know why you have to understand that Jamaat-E-Islami cannot participate in the election. That's a Supreme Court injunction. And the Election Commission has already debarred Jamaat-E-Islami from contesting the election. As a political party, that's a different issue. I'm talking about election in the Bangladesh scenario. First of all, the Jamaat-E-Islami has to fight that Supreme Court, and it will take months and months. And I don't know how they were going to tackle, because there is no history of, in the last 52 years, that a Supreme Court decision has been overruled or overturned. So that's number one.
Okay.
Number two, of course, Jamaat-Islami in the previous election, whatever had been contested, they had only 6% vote. And with the 6% vote, I don't believe, and it never happened, that Jamaat-Islami could elect from a certain constituency with Jamaat-Islami vote. They have to piggyback with another political party, and that's of course the Bangladesh Nationalist Party of Khaleda Zia.
That's exactly what could change the contours of the political landscape. And what it seems like is Mohammad Yunus is not a man who's in a tearing hurry to hold these elections anytime soon. So I feel, or that's what I sense, that till these changes are made, probably those elections would not happen.